Now, I want to talk about something that's really dear to you.
Yeah.
Fender Stratocaster.
Yes. Well, we used to go to Adelaide, and there was a guy, Kevin, who I'm friends with Facebook with, and we used to go out exploring music shops, and he had a love of, music. We became really good. He's a beautiful guy, Kev, and he came and picked me up one day, and I said, Kevin, let's go to Laurie Trodray's pawn shop, which is... I noticed this here. I noticed that there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It was about that far away, in between a washing machine and a fridge. It's like this, just sitting there, no case, And he's going, look at these beautiful, Joey, look at these beautiful guitars up here, and I'm going, that Laurie, he goes, no, look at this, Ibanez, brand new, look, it's shiny. And I kept going, Laurie, and he goes, oh, God, all right, go and get it. So I went and got it, and this is what I saw. They had a 70s neck on it. Eric McCusker from Mondo Rock tells people he knows about my neck changes on this guitar. Anyway, so it was this, and I picked it up, and it had a 70. Someone had put a 70s neck with a big headstock, and I said, "Oh, Laurie, how much is this?" And he goes, "Oh, you really want that?" And I went, "Well, I got this old Les Paul that I'd swapped JD with, because I thought if I swap guitars, and I'll be able to play like him, but that doesn't happen, does it? Because playing comes from within you,
JD,
yeah.
John Delamore.
Yeah, John Delamore. So I learnt that hard story quickly. So I ended up with G's guitar, which, the action was like that on it, and all this stuff. The neck was bowed, and so I said, Laurie, back at the Findon Hotel in Adelaide, back at the motel, I've got this Les Paul. Would you consider, this and say, $150? And he went, yeah, all right, no worries, whatever you like.
And did you realise what year it was?
Yeah, that it was an L series, what it was, yeah. So I saw Ian Moss playing one earlier, and I went, I love that colour. And
so for people who don't know what an L series Fender Stratocaster is, it was really the cream of the era for Fender Stratocaster.
Cream of the crop, isn't it?
Cream of the crop. They were made in that particular era.
In the between 1960 and 1964.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah, and
62, 64.
Yeah, and before 1960 were what they call the pre-L, before the L series, and there were none made in a rosewood dark neck. They were only made in a maple neck, and this is actually, I'll tell you that story. This is actually a 1959 neck that I acquired later, and because I loved Keith Richards and Ron Wood had the pre-L, the sunburst with the maple neck, so which I always wanted.
That's a 58-year-old neck to sing there.
Yeah. And anyway, so I said, Kev, let's get in the car, let's go back. So I went and knocked on Russell's door, and he's like, what? And I said, Russell, it's me. He goes, what do you want? And I said, well, I found this Strat, and he goes, what have you done now? And I said, I'm still like this now with guitar cars. Anyway, so I said, I need $150, and he went, oh, okay. So he gave me $150, and I went straight back there and gave him the Les Paul and got this guitar with the big neck.
And I love the colour. That is
it's
a beautiful colour for a Strat.
Yeah.
It's all aged really well.
Yeah, and that's a second paint job, actually. We painted that about 30 years ago. Anyway, a friend of mine. Anyway, there was nothing left on it. It was all like that, the whole guitar. I remember putting the paint stripper on it, and he goes, and he put the brush in the can, and he goes, you sure? And I went, oh, yeah, all right. And then he refretted it, but there's no frets left on it.
Is that the original colour?
Yeah, original colour.
Just repainted it.
Yeah. Original. When we took the paint off, it was it had been done sunburst then white, or white then I can't remember. I think sunburst then white, or the other way around. I can't remember. And the white had pencil marks all over it, pencil marks all over it. So they apparently put it through and penciled and go again, and then they painted it. So I found another mate of mine had an L series. Oh, God. I've had a few L series guitars, like we were talking about before, like yourself, Jackson. And so I bought this because I love the colour. This was a white Strat. I bought the whole thing for like $400,
wow.
And I ripped the neck off that and put it on this. Then I put the CBS neck on the white one, and I basically gave that away to somebody. Then I went to rehearse at Tomic, which was Troy Music, became Troy Music in Chapel Street. So rehearsing at Tomic, and the boys, the Macedonian brothers, had and they had this guitar in there that I was telling you about before, the pre-L series with this neck, that someone had made a piece of plastic all the way around the diameter of the guitar, and had put those ugly big fat chrome rivets in there.
Oh my God.
And I said to him, oh, look, would you consider swapping, the necks? And he said, yeah, take it upstairs, take the screwdriver. So I took it upstairs and I grabbed I was going to say I pinched, but I didn't pinch because I swapped the neck and the plate over. So the plate's actually a 29677, which shows the pre-L that goes with the neck plate. And that's the story of the guitar. Now, with this guitar, I played with Russell. I did the Foot in the Door album. I did everything with this guitar. I played with Wendy. I did all the album with Wendy. We toured all around Europe and stuff, supporting Bryan Adams, and we did a 3-month tour of ZZ Top.
Wow.
And I used this guitar. Come across hard times years later. Didn't have much money, the old Muso, story. And so I put it up for sale. A few guys that came to see it. Anyway, I sold it for $3.5. Which is a lot of money, man.
Still a bargain for an L Series guitar.
Yeah, but yes. So this guy called Joe Severino, who I'm friends with on Facebook, had a music shop in St Kilda, Canadian-Italian guy. So he rocked up and bought it, and he said, can I have a photo of you playing it, and blah, blah, blah. And 28 years goes past, and my little mate Peter Gregory, who was the guitar player in the Fabs, Little Stab, his nickname, Peter Gregory is I played in the Fabs with Barry Smith, the original Town Cry singer. Oh, an everlasting love. So anyway,
And Love Me Again, or Love You Again.
Love You Again, and or Love Me Again.
Love Me Again.
Yeah, and so about 4 months ago, Peter Gregory inboxes me on Facebook, and he says, look what I found. And I went, he goes, it's yours, isn't it? And I went, oh my God. I said, are you kidding me? I said, where's this? And he said, look, I don't really want to divulge just yet who owns it, because he's a very well-known artist, Australian artist, but he owns it. And I went, well, look, ask him, would he consider selling it? And he said, make an offer. And I said, oh, $6,000? Would he take 6? And he texted me back and he said, look, make it 7 and it's yours. So, okay. So that was a Friday afternoon, and he said, okay, well, I've told the guy the story about that you owned it, He goes, now I'm going to tell you who bought it in St Kilda 28 years ago. And he said, it's Joe Camilleri. Joe's had the guitar for the last, 27 years, and he says that it's time for, to go back to you.
Go back home.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good of him. I mean, a lot of people,
wouldn't,
particularly that type of guitar,
would say no. Joe's just a beautiful guy. I've known him since I was a kid, and so we went to Joe's place, and lo and behold, it never really left St Kilda all those 28 years. And isn't it funny? Joe bought it off Joe, who Joe bought it off Joe, and Joe bought it back off Joe. There were 3 Joes involved. But I cried the day it left here. It was a Friday afternoon when it left, and I cried when I got it back.
Yeah. You've got all your stories on the road.
Yep.
All those fantastic gigs you've done.
And would you believe that's the original strap button, and this one here, and Dakes, sitting over there next to Mick, told me that years ago he needed a strap button for a guitar, and I told him, I said, Dakes, I gave him this strap button, and it was off this guitar, and he said he's going to bring it back. He's got it at home. He was telling me the story for him. We're going to fit it back here. Right. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you can see this, but that's all yellow, and that once upon a time was bright white. When this was new,
it's aged.
Was bright white. It's aged, yeah.
And that's the beauty of those old vintage guitars. They age with grace. These 3 little switches, these little holes here. That's
Harvey James's guitar Strat had these that worked in working order.
Yeah, because they were from Jaguar or something.
Jaguar.
The Jaguar had those 3
Jaguar
switches.
Jackson, and they did a really good job of cutting the squares, because it looks like it's been on a machine. And the funny thing is, on the back plate on the inside was a little where you could screw them and hold them in, but they'd never gone that far, and the wiring had never been wired up. So I took it apart and I think I threw them out anyway, and I put a piece of sticky tape behind, electrical tape behind there, and that is still the same electrical tape that I put in 30 years ago. And I reckon there was still my dust here when I got it back 28 years later.
Amazing. That's a great story. It's really good that it's come back to you. It's gone full circle.